Happy Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday, which means the start of another NFL week. During this show, I'm going to recap my week 8 picks that I gave you during my last show, tell you how I finished up, tell you where I went wrong, and where some improvements could be had with myself as well as these teams. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump into the week 8. So, the first game was the Vikings versus the Chargers. Ultimate chose the Vikings doing this one, which was wrong. The Vikings don't have a quarterback, and I argue that they still don't have a quarterback. Carson Wentz went out with an injury, and he's done for the season. He was playing through an injury and it did not look pretty. He was not passing for a lot of yards. And the Chargers just kind of just did what they wanted to do with them. Going to the second game, the Falcons end up losing, which was the team I chose. I was riding high with the Falcons. Did not know Drake London was going to be out. Did not know Michael Penix was going to be out. And Kirk Cousins was running the show, and he just looked bad. He looks so bad. Like, it's time for Kirk Cousins just to hang up the cleats and find him a nice analyst career, because he made Bijan look very inefficient, and the Dolphins has just been giving up everything to any running back, and for Bijan to have a underperforming game like that, I think it more speaks to Kirk Cousins' inefficiency than Bijan. So that was another surprise. The Ravens versus the Bears. Yeah, I was surprised. No Lamar Jackson, and the Bears still end up losing. The Bears faded the run in this game. They had less than 100 yards. They went away from what was going well for them these past couple weeks. DeAndre Swift looked like he was turning the clock back, and DeAndre still kind of had an okay game. But the Bears faded the run and lean more on Caleb Williams, which isn't a problem. He's the number one overall draft pick, so you would expect a team to kind of want to lean on him, but you need to have a run game. And when they faded the run, I think that put Caleb in a box. Caleb was very inaccurate in his game, but he did have a lot of highlights too. But just to lose against a Lamar Jackson less Ravens team is just unacceptable, really. I know they got a lot of major playmakers back on the defensive end, but that's a game you want to see the Bears win. Going on to the Jets and the Bengals, this was another upset. It's another upset. Did not have the Jets winning this week, let alone any week of the NFL season. But I think they was running high on emotions. My condolences to Nick Mango. They had news that he passed away. I think this was a game that they was kind of playing for him, as well as Justin. Man, they went back and forth. End up starting Justin, and he had a pretty solid game. But for the Bengals to give up 39 points to the Jets, it just speaks on how bad this Bengals defense is. Like, they are like historically bad. Like, 39 points to the Jets. No. Like, I know Trey was out this game. Well, maybe he was in, but he got out the game with a hip injury. This defense has nobody, and they can't cover nobody. Like the Jets didn't even have Wilson. Like, they just had Brees Hall and Justin Fields pretty much, and they let those two do whatever they wanted on them. So big changes need to happen for this Bengals defense. Yeah. But this is what happens when you invest all your money on the offensive side. You get 38 points, but you also give up 39. So don't see this team getting any better. This loss really does open up the door for the Ravens, for Lamar Jackson to come back and really run a table and push for a playoff spot despite missing so many games. Bills versus Panthers. I expected this. Panthers, not a good team. And then Bills was coming off a bye week. So it was really no surprises with this one. 49ers and Texans. This was surprising to me. The Texans just was just rolling on offense. Like they had no receivers, and despite them having no receivers, they had like elite time of possession. I think like the first half ended and 49ers only had like one or two possessions. Like they could not get the Texans off the field. And I think this really speaks volumes of the Fred Warner injury. Like this is worse than I thought. Like his impact. I everybody knows Fred Warner's a top linebacker in the league, but for the 49ers to look this bad without him is honestly pretty embarrassing. And Robert Saleh next game, he's gonna have to show something. He's gonna have to do something because they could not get the Texans off the field. And like you got a rookie Rudy Marks, he's been looking pretty solid. You got an old Nick Chubb, and then basically you got all rookie receivers, and that was cooking them. So Robert Saleh, you got to do something with that defense. Was not expecting that loss. Browns versus the Patriots. Kind of figured the Browns was going to lose. I was leaning towards the Browns spread for the plus. But like that offense just need more weapons. Like once Quinshawn Judkins got out the game, that's when the Patriots really started to open up and start running away from this game. And the Browns is not a team that's like can play from behind. Like they need more offensive talent. Myles Garrett had a historical game, 5 sacks. So that's why I kind of figured that they would be in the game because their defense will keep them in them. So I was ultimately looking at that spread. But Dylan Gabriel did not show anything. I mean, definitely need more weapons. Dylan Gabriel is a winner. He was a winner when he was at UCF, was a winner at Oklahoma, was a winner at Oklahoma, winner at Oregon. So he played a lot of winning football. So this quarterback is definitely not a scrub. But he has a lot of challenges to overcome. Top receiver Jerry Jeudy, he's just a guy. Like I said, this team really runs do Quinshawn Judkins, and that's it. That's it. And he's a rookie, so he can only do so much. But like I said, like I was thinking this was gonna be a trap game. At first, it was starting out to be pretty good, but then Dylan Gabriel started making turnovers, and when you are already, an underdog like that, you gotta play mistake-free football to beat a team like the Patriots. This game, knew the Eagles was gonna come on top. Horrible injury from Cam Scatterboo. Just gut wrenching. This team, I will argue, has lost their identity now, and this team has 2 back-to-back bad losses. And I really see the Giants nose diving, and I just don't know what's the emotional state in that locker room. To lose neighbors, to give up all those points in the fourth quarter to the Broncos, and now to lose Cam Scatterboo. It might be too much for the team to overcome. Bengals versus the Saints. No really surprise here. The Saints is just trash. The Bengals didn't really. Not the Bengals. The Buccaneers didn't really show nothing on the offensive side, but didn't really have to. So this was kind of like another low performing game for the Buccaneers offense, but you can get away with it based on the competition of the Saints. Titans, Colts. Taylor's looking like an MVP. Knew they was gonna run away with this. Pretty confident, pretty comfortable. It's not really much to say about this game. Besides Taylor's looking like the real deal MVP. And Colts is a team to watch out for. Come playoff time. Cowboys versus the Broncos was really, really expected more of a battle for the Cowboys, but I don't know why. The Cowboys is a seesaw team. They're up, then they're down, and you know what I'm saying, and they still don't know. But the Cowboys, they're just too dependent on Dak. Way too dependent on Dak. They should have kept running it a little bit more. I was expecting more of a revenge game script with Javonte Williams. He ended up having 2 touchdowns. Um, but this Cowboys team was just they just looked out of the game the whole entire game. Dak never looked comfortable. Dak ended up throwing a couple of interceptions this game. But this Broncos defense is really tough, really deep. So I mean, not really surprised. This is a team that wants to lead on their defense, and even though Bo Nix he showed something, 4 passing touchdowns. But when you got a defense that's solid, it's going to be hard to mess up, and with a head coach like Sean Payton who's gonna call the right plays and put people where he's gonna put his team in position to score every possession. So when you got like a defense like that and a coach like that and a quarterback that's young and can get out the pocket and make some plays, you're gonna have some success. So shout out to the Broncos for that one. But Dak is still looking like a good quarterback for the season, but they're just way too dependent on it. I think they'll benefit from a 1-2 punch running wise. I know they got Lamb and Pickens, the 2 high flyers, but I think that's just making the team way too dependent on Dak and his success. Packers versus the Steelers. Now Steelers defense is just bad. Like they're just washed. Like 360 and 3 touchdowns to Jordan Love is way too much. Like I respect Jordan Love as a quarterback, but this team really wants to run the ball. And they just made Jordan Love look like the guy, the dude. So this team is washed. They got a bunch of old guys in secondary. They're breaking down. They're ready to retire and collect their 401k money, because at this point, like they're Unk Nation, pretty much. Like you got a bunch of Unks on that team, and Unks can't roll with the young fellas no more. And it's a shame. Mike Tomlin always had solid defense. Steelers always had dominant defenses, but this year this defense is looking very suspect, and they could be had. And the final game of the slate, definitely predicted this. Everybody was comfortable, even though the Chiefs came out kind of shaky at first. Mahomes throwing a lot of interceptions, end up with a win. But the Commanders just don't have it all right now. Jaden Daniels wasn't playing. Scary Terry came back, had a good game. But kind of expected this from the Chiefs. Chiefs are looking like they're coming back in their final form and ready to make a Super Bowl push. But that was week 8. With week 8, ended up going 5-8 with the picks that I gave you last show. So definitely looking to improve this coming week. So make sure you be on the lookout for my next video for the week 9 preview. And I'm going to give you some more leans, talk about some players, and talk about where some teams could have some success at. So I'll see you on my next show. Thank you.